Hi, Kevin Purcell here, and I've got the Acer Aspire 1 Cloudbook 14. Now this is a notebook computer that runs Windows 10, and it's really at the low end. This only costs $250. Acer wants to make this an alternative to Chromebooks and give it a low-end price, and unfortunately the hardware goes with it. So let's go ahead and show you what you get for $250. First of all, what you have here is a 14-inch system. It's fairly thin and light. For budget computers, it's about just under 3.5 pounds. Let's talk about the screen. First of all, you can see that it's fairly bright. I've got it set almost entirely to 100%, I believe. Let's go ahead and check that. That's at 25%. It's hard to tell here on the screen on this camera. That's at 75%. And so it's not bad. It's not a terrible display. As you can see, the text is a little bit washed out, but for the most part, it looks fairly decent. Of course, as you can see, the little sticker there, it says ready to talk. Cortana works on this one. It's Cortana enabled. As you look at this keyboard, it looks like it would be a nice, decent, spacious keyboard. Unfortunately, there's some problems with it, and one is that down here, this control key, you can hear that clicking sound, and every once in a while it makes sort of like a crunch sound, almost like there's something down in there. That's out of the box it made that, so I don't think it's because of something I've gotten, particles stuck down in there. As I type on this keyboard, sometimes you have to really bang on the space key and some of the other keys to get them to show up on screen, and that can be frustrating. The trackpad isn't as big as it could be, and it also is, it's responsive, but one of the problems that I have on a lot of Windows keyboards is when you're clicking, I click and I just naturally want to do this. But notice what happens if you do that. Often what will happen is I'll accidentally get too close down here to the corner and I'll get a right click. You notice that the right click menu came up. And it seems to be inconsistent, and it's a little bit annoying. You have to really make certain that you're clicking over here. I always use my right finger to click, and so that's an annoyance. Trackpads, I really don't like trackpads in general, but some I can use. This one, after about a day, I quickly hooked up a Bluetooth mouse, which then degrades the battery life on it. So let's go ahead and talk about performance and battery life. It comes with an Intel Celeron 3050 processor, I believe. And it only has 2 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of internal storage. Now the internal storage is not as fast as regular SSD storage, and that low RAM count makes this thing really slow. You saw how slow it took to react to opening up the settings. Launching apps is really slow. Notice I clicked that app. That app is a Bible app. It doesn't normally take very much to get it to launch, but see, it's taking many, many seconds just to load that thing. And then the battery life on this system, they promise you up to 6 hours. With the screen turned up to a usable level at 75% instead of about 50 to 60% on most computers. Also with a Bluetooth mouse connected, because I'm just not going to use this trackpad. That means I was getting maybe around 4 to 4.5 hours if I wasn't really killing the Wi-Fi on it. So battery life was below average for a computer this in this style and range. Of course, for the price, you can't really complain too awfully bad. Notice that program has still not even launched. And that's just a real problem. This thing just really drags. And so the performance on it is almost miserable. Well, let's take a look at the ports here. On the right-hand side, all you get is a simple USB 2.0 port. Here on the front, there's nothing. This shows you a little bit how thin it is, which is kind of nice, even for a cheap notebook. And then over on this side, you get the charger port, HDMI out, USB 3.0, a combination headphone microphone jack, and then we get a full-size SD card slot. On the back, of course, there's nothing. Looking at the bottom, of course you get the vents and speakers are here, and the sound is just okay. It's not terrible, about average for a laptop. So let's give you a conclusion on this system. It's a budget computer. It's meant to compete with Chromebooks. Personally, I'd rather have a Chromebook. Chrome OS doesn't take up much power, and so it would run on this system really well. In fact, Acer makes some of the best Chromebooks you can get. The Acer Chromebook 11 and the Acer Chromebook 13 are two of the best Chromebooks that you can buy today, and they're about the same price. One's a little cheaper, obviously. This one also comes in an 11-inch, just like the Chromebooks. But Windows is just takes up too many resources to run effectively on a budget system like this. And so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to recommend this one due to the poor performance and the terrible keyboard and trackpad, mediocre battery life, and just okay screen. But if you're desperate for a Windows computer, this one does have 64 gigs, which is a little bit more than the HP Stream 13 that we also reviewed. And so, it might be an option for a very small segment of people who can't use a Chromebook because they need one or two Windows programs that take up more than about 32 gigabytes of RAM, which other low-end systems like this require. But really, these days, you can buy a better computer for maybe $100 more that will probably perform better, even if it does just have a regular spinning hard drive instead of an SSD. You may not get any more battery life out of it, but you will definitely get better performance with a better processor and more memory. Windows requires at least 4 gigabytes to run usably. So this is the Acer the Acer Aspire 1 Cloudbook 14, and it's a don't buy.